Chapter 4: The Need of a Powerful Individuality. The facts and experiences of practical life are demonstrating more fully every day that the greatest achievements come always through the strongest individualities. Therefore, in the world of action, where success is the purpose, there should be a great demand for information and methods that will promote the development of individuality. And the goal of all such development should be the becoming of yourself. That is, the being of yourself so fully and so thoroughly that neither persons nor environments can exercise influences over you contrary to your own purpose and will. It is a well-known fact that a large percentage of the failures in life come because the individual is not sufficiently himself to hold his original purpose during trying moments. Thousands who have gone down to defeat would have won great and lasting victories if they had only held on a little longer. Then there is a very large number of failures that come because the controlling individual wavers, that is, influenced by others to change his plans, or influenced by environment or indications to modify his original purpose. We know that concentration upon that which we are doing, as well as upon our special plans, is absolutely necessary if we are to carry things through to ultimate success of a high order. But no one can concentrate properly while he is being turned this way or that way by persons, environments, conditions, or events. Those minds that have produced definite and properly constructed plans, and who can stand by those plans undisturbed until the desired results are secured, are not numerous because the development of individuality has not been promoted to any great extent. But as all success demands minds of this nature, we realize the importance of a powerful individuality in every undertaking. And when we know that each individual is the creator of his own destiny, we must naturally conclude that that individual cannot create a great destiny who is seldom himself. You can create after your own likeness only when you are yourself. When you are under the influence of your environment, you are creating a destiny just like your present environment. That is the reason why progress in the average individual has been so slow. In other words, we have created the future after the likeness of the imperfect present because we have been mostly under the influence of our present surroundings. To see a new world of achievement patterned from something that is far superior to the present, and then continue to build up that world in your own life and work, that is one of the secrets not only in securing greater results in our present undertakings, but also in building more nobly for the future. To do this, however, we must be ourselves. We must be so strongly individualized that our own high purpose is safely protected at all times from all counteracting influences from without. When you enter the world of action, your object is to do something different and to do your work much better than it was ever done before, because that alone can constitute real success. But you cannot do things better in the present unless you become superior to the life of the past. You cannot create something different so long as your creative powers have no other models before them than such imperfections exist in your present environment. It is certainly evident that if we are to move forward, we must give the mind a more perfect group of ideas than those that are gathered from present surroundings. But when we do secure more perfect ideas, plans, or methods, we cannot stand by them and see them through unless we are sufficiently strong in our own individuality to overcome such inferior influences as may surround us. In brief, we must be strong enough to be ourselves, to stand by the best conceptions that we have formed of ourselves and of those greater attainments and achievements that we have in view. The man with new ideas receives very little encouragement from the public or from his associates until he has demonstrated the fact that those ideas are sound and practical. Therefore, while he is making application of his higher views and carrying out his superior plans, he must depend upon his own strong individuality, otherwise he will fail. But this requirement has not been met by a great many in the past. Any number have appeared with original ideas, superior plans, and better methods, all of which would have proved successful if thoroughly worked out. But the individuality necessary to push those things through to the ultimate results was not present in every case. Therefore, we can remember but few in the centuries past who succeeded as fully and as greatly as it was in their power to succeed. To originate and carry out to completion some great plan that will leave the world richer and add to the welfare of man, that is real success. But these two essentials are not always found together in the same mind. There are many original thinkers, but they have not the individuality to carry out and push through to the end their original ideas. Then again, others have strong individual qualities and are competent to push through almost anything, but they have no originality, therefore are without the necessary material with which to work. In general, it is one mind that supplies the plans and another that carries them out, and where minds can combine in that way, each one concerned will reap his share of just reward and results will be satisfactory. In too many instances, it is the one who carries out the plan who reaps the richest harvest, while the one who discovers the plan secures but a fraction of the final results. There is only a small percentage of the great inventors, discoverers, and original thinkers who have received the full financial recompense due them, but no one was to blame but themselves. If they had had the originality to promote their own plans or to stand firmly upon their own individual prerogatives while associating with the promoters, the results would have been thoroughly in their favor. Illustrations without number could be given to prove these ideas, but this will not be required, as it is clear to everybody that originality and individuality are the two great pillars in the temple of achievement, and that in order to secure the greatest results in any achievement, each individual mind should possess these two prime essentials. Where each individual mind is in possession of only one of these essentials, it will be uphill work to succeed in anything, because it requires a certain amount of individuality or push to secure the proper associates for the carrying out of wonderful ideas. And it requires a certain amount of originality to understand clearly the wonderful ideas of another so as to work them out successfully. For this reason, the proper course to pursue is to do one's very best under present circumstances and then go to work at once to develop what is lacking. Let the man who lacks individuality proceed to develop individuality to the very highest possible degree. And let the man who lacks originality learn to become an original thinker, not only in his own field of action, but in as many additional fields as possible. Resuming our analysis of individuality and its relation to the great achievements, we must not omit the fact that the most thorough use of the powers within us is possible only when we are well individualized. It requires power to do things, and the more power we possess, the more we shall accomplish, provided that power is well directed. But to direct this power, there must be a controlling factor in the mind, that is, the mind must be well individualized. That man who is not himself more than a part of the time does not direct his own powers at all times. When he is not strictly himself, he creates in mind something that is foreign to his own purpose in life. The need of individuality, therefore, is again most evident. Individuality, however, cannot be developed simply through the acceptance of good advice on the subject. Such development is a science and must be studied and applied as other sciences. As individuality develops, the creative forces in the mind will accumulate in that part of mentality through which your work is carried out, and will constantly increase the capacity and the efficiency of the faculties that you employ in your work. This is very important and proves conclusively why the talents of the strong individual do not give up until they have accomplished what was planned in the beginning. Where individuality is not strong, there are a number of counter-tendencies in the mind, and the faculties that you employ in your vocation do not receive all the energies that are generated. Much of this energy is diverted by those counter-tendencies, and thus wasted. However, when individuality is well developed, you are not only yourself at all times, but you naturally give your whole self to the undertaking at hand. This will cause the mind to concentrate perfectly upon those mental faculties that you employ at present, and according to a well-known metaphysical law, whenever the mind concentrates perfectly upon any faculty, all the energies of the system pour into that faculty and multiply many times its capacity. That a given faculty can do better work the more power and capacity it has is a fact that anyone will understand, and that the possession of a strong individuality will enable any mind to hold all of this genius and power in the present channel of application must also be perfectly dear. We realize, therefore, the value gained by developing individuality to such an extent that every thought force produced in our systems will always be directed and applied where our work is to be done. To create your own destiny, you must be yourself at all times, and the higher your understanding of yourself, the better will be the destiny that you create. To be yourself, however, does not mean that you are to imprison yourself in your own self-consciousness. There is a current idea that individualism leads to selfishness, and that the stronger your individuality becomes, the more arrogant, exacting, domineering, and tyrannical you become. But there is absolutely no truth to these beliefs. The strong, individualized soul is none of these things, because the stronger you become, the weaker will all your faults and defects become. The well-developed individual is closer to the human race than anyone else and has a much deeper sympathy. Besides, it is the well-developed individual that gives the fullest and best expression to the best that is contained in human nature. When you are well individualized, you will not be isolated from others, but will live more closely to the world than ever before, learning from the world as usual, but never controlled by the world. What you learn and receive, you employ according to the most perfect methods, in order that greater achievements may follow. The mind that does things worthwhile is always well rewarded, but what he does also benefits the world. So therefore, the more you do and the more you accomplish, the better off the world will be, because you have lived. However, the more we study this subject, the more convinced we become that individuality is an attainment we cannot afford to pass by for a moment. But the question is, what to do to develop a powerful individuality? The first step is to turn attention away from the personal self and direct thought more and more upon what is termed the great within. In this connection, we must eliminate what is usually called self-consciousness. That is, being too conscious of the visible personality. So long as we mentally dwell upon the visible side of ourselves, we are conscious only of the surface. Accordingly, thought will be ordinary and feeling will be superficial. When you live, so to speak, in the shell, the outer crust, you cannot draw upon the inexhaustible resources from the within. But great minds cannot come from superficial thinking, nor from living on the surface, nor can deep or powerful thinking come from the habit of dwelling mentally upon the visible self. Therefore, if we are to become inwardly strong, we must train ourselves to think deeper thought and live more thoroughly in the great depths of life, feeling, and consciousness. To develop individuality and to become inwardly strong mean the same, a fact that may assist many in this great work. We learn after looking closely at the subject that the lack of individuality so prevalent everywhere comes almost entirely from the race habit of superficial thinking, and such thinking continues so long as attention is directed principally upon the surface of life, thought, or feeling. The turning of attention upon the depths of thought, life, and feeling is absolutely necessary if we are to proceed with the development of individuality. To bring about this deeper form of thinking and to become inwardly strong so as to give thorough development to our individuality is a very simple process when we discover the real principle involved. To apply this process, proceed as follows. Take a minute or two every hour and turn all attention upon the depths of your mind. Then, desire deeply and persistently to arouse the strongest energies of the great within. This is all that is necessary in the beginning. After a few days of such practice, you'll begin to feel yourself becoming stronger in your feelings, in your thoughts, and in your convictions, and you will also begin to feel something within you that is giving you more courage, more push, more perseverance, and a great deal more confidence in yourself. As you realize these steps in advancement give credit to the new method, and you will thus find that succeeding efforts in applying this method will produce still better results. This fact is based upon the law that the more faith we have in something that is good, the more good we will get out of it. As you proceed with this deeper faith, you will arouse more of the latent forces, and from day to day, you will realize the increase of the new power functioning more and more throughout your entire system. Then you will discover that you are getting backbone, that you are becoming absolutely fearless, and that you positively know that you can carry out your plans. This, however, is just the beginning. You will soon become deeply interested in the new development and will give the matter more thought with more faith. What will happen henceforth will be of the greatest value to you because the development of individuality has begun. You no longer live in the shell of your being. Your mind is no longer empty or superficial. Your system is being filled up with something that has real worth, and you are becoming a real power. You will discover a great change taking place throughout mind and personality. From a state of uncertainty where you did not know how to apply yourself properly, and from a state of where you did not know what the morrow would bring, you have come to a belief where you positively know how to carry out all your plans with the positive assurance of great results. From the tiny acorn that you placed in your mind a short time ago is coming the mighty oak. And from a few thoughts sown in the depths of your mind is coming those remarkable results that you have desired so long. The beginning may be small, but perseverance in the right direction will accomplish anything. The seed from which will spring this strong individuality is the inner feeling of new power being aroused. And the simple method given above will in every case produce this inner feeling and will do so in a few days. From that foundation, you can, if you persevere along the same line, build up an individuality so strong and so powerful that nothing in your life or in your environment can in any way cause you to turn to the right or to the left or hinder your progress in any form or manner. And when you realize this, you will no longer continue with the imperfect methods of the past, but will adopt all the best methods that further study along new lines will reveal to you, so that the greater results and the greater future which you now realize to be in store may be gained with a certainty.